Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's session where we'll be talking about tools and technology solutions to manage finance. Uh, just to clarify before we start, can you all hear my voice? Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Great. So, welcome to today's session. Just like yesterday, for those who were with me in yesterday's session, where we were talking about creating a bank account, and we talked about saving, budgeting, and briefly about investing, how important they are. They were important topics with, let's say, relevant headings that we covered yesterday. For those who have joined us today, just to give you a brief profile about myself, my name is Ahmed Najid Askar. I will be the presenter in today's session. My work experience as in front of you. I joined the banking sector in 2009 as a relationship manager in the corporate banking division of BVK, where we provide banking solutions to corporate clients specifically. I've been there from 2009 till 2015. In 2015 till 2017, I moved to Khaliji Commercial Bank, which is an Islamic retail bank in Bahrain. As a senior manager, again, the function was a relationship manager in the corporate banking division. In 2017, I rejoined BVK in the risk management division as a designated credit officer or a credit and investment reviewer. Recently, in November 2020, I have been appointed as the acting head of credit review department in the same division, risk management division. I'm also a part-time instructor in Bahrain Institute and Banking and Finance from 2014 till today. My educational background, I graduated from University of Bahrain in 2008, the bachelor's degree in accounting. I have passed my CFA level 1 examination. I have my master's degree, certified management accountant. I have passed the Foundations of Financial Risk certificate, and I'm currently a candidate of the Financial Risk Management. Please take a note of my contact details as shown in front of you. You have my mobile number, you have my email. As I advised the participants yesterday, please feel free to raise any inquiry if you have any questions after the session or anytime. Please feel free to email me. I'll try to respond to you as soon as I can. Before we start the session today, as I highlighted yesterday, I'd like to have the session as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, any inquiries, you would like to share your experience, please feel free to interrupt me at any point of time. As I highlighted that this is a learning experience for both of us. I can share my experience with you and you can share your experience so that we all benefit once the session is concluded. In today's session, where we'll be talking about tools and technology solutions to manage finance. Now, to start the session, I just want to highlight one thing. There isn't a single tool, there isn't a single technological solution that would be able to provide you all the advices that you would benefit from unless you have properly prepared yourself, planned yourself on how to save, how to spend, how to invest. As we highlighted in yesterday's session, a simple Excel sheet where you will be identifying your income, your mandatory expenses, your mandatory savings. This is what drives the proper decision making regarding regarding the management of financing. So no matter how good the tool is, no matter how sophisticated the tool is, if you don't have a direction, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a budget, then such tools will add little value. So please make sure that you have a proper planning for your financing requirements. Now, when we talk about tools and solutions or technological solutions, personal financing refers to issues related to, as you see in the diagram in front of you, issues related to the sources of income that you are generating, the spending that you're doing whether it's on daily basis, on monthly basis, how much is the saving that you are planning to have, how much do you consider investing, what securities you want to use as your investing structure. And of course, personal financing definitely relates to protection. Of course, no doubt that having such tools, having those technological solutions will add quite some value in your decision making about your financial needs and requirements. So what we are going to cover today, the session will be a bit brief. What we are going to cover today is what could be some of the, let's say, tools or technological solutions that will help us achieve our objectives. And we will conclude the session by highlighting some of the drawbacks and limitations of such tools and or technological solutions. Of course, you need to understand one thing. Since a couple of years back, banks, financial institutions, even corporate clients have been pushing towards improvement of their information technology infrastructure. We have the FinTech initiative, which is the financial technology solutions, where banks have promoted their online banking platforms. They have promoted mobile banking by developing different types of applications where you, as a customer or a client of the bank, don't even have to set foot in the branch. You can see that some of the banks in Bahrain have established a full automated branch where you don't see a single employee in that branch. You go in, you execute your banking transactions, and you leave. Of course, it will be supported by a customer service hotline in case you have any inquiries or require any further support. You might have heard about, let's say, the artificial intelligence, the AI, that has been implemented by some banks, where if you have any inquiries or you prefer the old-fashioned traditional banking, where you will be interacting with, let's say, tellers or customer service representatives face-to-face, this has also been pushed towards artificial intelligence. So it tells you the magnitude of how the information information technology advancements have changed the shape of how we deal with our banks. And of course, when we deal our banks, that means that it changed the shape of how you make your personal financing decisions. Now, again, when you want to manage your personal finance, as I told you, you need to work on a plan. When you have a plan, as a budget on what are the sources of income that you have, what are the mandatory expenses that you cannot avoid, what are the target saving that you need to achieve. It is then that you go through a cycle. In front of you, you have a very simplified cycle where, let's start with the green arrow, where you need to start working on your budget. Once you start working on the budget, that means, for example, as I highlighted in yesterday's session, I'll repeat it for today's session. If you want to determine how much you should save every month as your mandatory saving, you need to have a plan. Why are you saving? So I'll be sharing some of my personal experiences with you. I want to save, for example, to ensure that once my daughters graduate from school and they reach the age of 18, I have the sufficient tuition fee or university tuition fee planned and set aside for them. So that is my plan. How am I going to achieve it? I'm going to achieve it by controlling the expenses that I have and tracking the sources of tracking the income that I am generating. So that is the concept of planning. We set the steps, how much we need to save on monthly basis, how much we can spend on monthly basis, and we keep on tracking. The tracking refers to basically ensuring that we do not exceed our expenses, and at the same time we need to ensure that our income or the target income that we desire is achieved. Report costs means, again, if you remember the case where I asked you yesterday a question about, do you know how much you spent on the 10th of March 1 year ago? And most probably from the top of our heads, no, we don't know. We don't know how much we spent last week if the amount is not material. If the amount is material, you might recall. But we do not want to rely on people's memory. We want documents. We want to document our material expenses. You have spent 300 dinars on a specific item, put that in the budget sheet that you have generated. So you need to keep track of your costs by generating what may be referred to as the report costs. You need to analyze, have we met our target saving? This month we have overspent, accordingly we could not save. So if we cannot save, then in this case, what do we do? This is a question I'm asking you. If you did not meet your target saving, what do you suggest I should do? So we were planning to save 1000 BD this month, but because of some expenses or unexpected expenses, we could not save the 1000 BD.
We make up for it in the next month.
We make up for it in the next month. Perfect. That's very good. That means that before we forget about the current month and move on to the next month, we need to ensure that we analyze what we have done. Something went wrong. That's why you could not achieve the target saving. So if you could not achieve the target saving, you need to analyze. When I talk about analysis, that means where was the shortfall? Was it in our income? Did we miss some income that we were targeting and we did not receive it? What is the reason for that? Perhaps some of the expenses were unnecessary expenses. Or alternatively, we might have missed out some of our mandatory expenses, right? So accordingly, we go to the concept of analysis. And once we analyze, we need to go back to the first step that we started with. Look at your budget. Was your budget accurate? Did you miss something? What are the changes that have happened in your budget that resulted in you not achieving the saving? Now, the shape that you have in front of you is a cycle. When we see a shape that is in the form of a cycle, that means that this process should continue over and over. As long as you are achieving the target, you are on the safe side. Now, let me ask you a question. If your target saving is 1000 and you have actually achieved 1200, so I want to ask you a question. Do we need to go through this cycle all over again? Your target is 1000 dinars and you are achieving 1000 dinars of saving every month. So you are fine. Would you suggest we go back through the cycle?
No. No.
Why is that? Why shouldn't I revisit my budget? So you are telling me that if we are achieving our target saving, we don't need to go and reanalyze our budget. My response is yes. From time to time, even if you are saving, even if your target saving is to save 1000 dinars per month and you are saving 1000 dinars per month, that means everything is okay, you need to revisit the budget. Perhaps, I just want to ask a simple question. What is better, to save 1000 dinar or to save 2000 dinars?
2000, in my opinion.
2000. I agree. The more we save, if our target is 1000 and we can save more than that, why not? Let's go ahead and save. We never know what will happen tomorrow. Perhaps due to inflation, due to sudden increases in prices, our 1000 dinar that we thought was the right saving target might be understated. And the reason I'm telling you that you need to revisit your budget is, let's answer the following question. Will our income be constant throughout our life?
No.
No. So you have one parameter within your budget, which is income, that will not remain fixed. It will change over time, right? Your mandatory expenses, will they remain fixed throughout your life?
No.
So now we have two factors. We have two factors that are subject to changes. They are not static, they are dynamic. By dynamic, I'm referring to these sources of income and those mandatory expenses that we identified 5 years back will be different than what we have today. Our lives change. That's normal. So our income might change. Our mandatory expenses might change. Tomorrow, I might read some some news or some article that universities decided that they want to increase their tuition fee to 10% or 20%. So a third factor within your budget, which is the mandatory saving that we identified yesterday, might not be sufficient today. So accordingly, there are factors, there are variables, there are parameters that are not static, they are not fixed. So accordingly, you will be required to revisit the entire cycle, even if you have achieved your objectives. Perhaps once you have revisited your objectives, you would see that, you know what, there are some expenses that I can live without. There are some expenses that I can live without. Eliminate them. If you eliminate those expenses, you will see that you will have more funds to save. So again, before going to the tools and technological solutions, start downloading applications, start subscribing in some applications, make sure first that your plan is there, your plan is in front of you, your plan is solid. Because the tools are there to help you meet those targets. So what's the point of downloading these tools, understanding these tools, if we don't know where we are going, what is the direction we are going? So again, please ensure that you have a plan, you have a target, you have analyzed your strengths and weaknesses in terms of income and expenses, what are our limitations in terms of resources and capital, before going on to download the tools. Personal financing might involve decisions related to budgeting, insurance, mortgages taken from the bank or loans taken from the bank, which are credits. Your salary will change over time. How much can we deposit every month or every quarter or from one time to another intervals? Investment decisions. Since your capital changes over time, that will have an impact on your investments. If you are interested in investing in shares, if you are interested in investing in bonds, we might be interested in investing in real estate properties. What about retirement? Is it part of our personal finance decisions? So right now, I'm 35. I would retire by the age of 60. So that means I have 25 more years to go. Do you think I should plan for my retirement?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Let me tell you, when someone retires, what is the main source of income they have? When someone retires, what is the main source of income that they have? Isn't it their pension fund, their retirement salary? So let me ask you a question. Would you be comfortable if you retire having a single source of income?
No.
No. So what should we do? Should we start planning 1 year before we retire, or should we start thinking about the retirements earlier?
Earlier,
right? Earlier, the earlier you plan for your retirement, the better. That's why there is one advice that I have given you yesterday, which was a quote from Warren Buffett: don't rely on a single source of income. Create multiple sources of income so that by the time you retire, you don't rely solely on your pension fund or retirement salary. Tax advantages. This is not applicable in Bahrain, but generally speaking, tax advantages also are as part of personal financing requirements. Social security. You will achieve a social security if you have prepared proper plans, if you have structured proper budgeting systems, then you will achieve social security. Savings, a key component in personal finance. We have emphasized on savings in our previous session. So it is part of our personal finance requirement. There is a question I usually like asking. If you take a loan from bank, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It could be both.
Okay, I like that answer. It's a diplomatic answer. Can you please elaborate on that?
It's good because sometimes you don't have enough money, so you get to have another source of income. But it's bad because it's an obligation, it's a liability, and it has also interest rates and whatever. You would pay more than you expect, something like that. Am I correct?
Perfect. At the end of the day, the answer is it depends on why you want to take the loan. So let me ask you a question. I'm planning to travel as soon as the COVID-19 pandemic has been stabilized. I will be the first one in the airport to travel once we have green light that travel is safe. Would you advise I take a loan for a 1-month vacation to Europe? Is that a good reason to take a loan?
No.
No, it's not. Right? It's not a good reason. If you want to start a business, and you are thinking about expanding your business cash flow supports you taking additional loan, then that could be a good reason for you to take a loan, right? So accordingly, when we talk about debt, when we talk about loan, the concept that I see is that it is always bad to take a loan. And that is not true. That is not true. At the end of the day, you need to understand that the ultimate decision whether taking a loan is good or bad depends on why you have taken the loan. Remember the concept that we've seen yesterday. If you spend money on things you don't need today, you will end up selling things that you actually need in the future, right? So these are some of the personal finance decisions that you need to consider. And now we'll be talking about the tools and technological solutions. The point of the 6 items that we're going to discuss shortly is to see how these tools help you make decisions regarding the items that you have in front of you on the sheet, right? You need to understand one thing. The tool will provide you analytical data. That means it will analyze your financial status. The tools should not solely be used to make decisions on your behalf. At the end of the day, as I told you, you have prepared the plan, you have prepared targets, you have analyzed your financial position, you have collected data about yourself in terms of income, in terms of expenses. So accordingly, right now, it's the time to use the tool that will guide you towards making decisions. So bear in mind, tools are not there to make decisions on your behalf. Tools are there to help you analyze information or analyze the data in order to make a sound decision. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you want to share your experiences, I'm more than willing to listen. Now, what are the tools, or what types of tools do we have? We all have smartphones. If you go to the Apple Store or Google Play Store and type finance, right? Look at how many applications there are. Should we download all those applications? The answer is no. You have multiple applications that you can use to manage your personal financing. But the question here is, what do I want to use the tool for? If a specific application meets all my requirements, then downloading a single application would be a better decision than downloading 10 or 15 applications. We don't want information to be redundant in all the applications. So in today's presentation and workshop, I will not be talking about what applications we need to download. I'm talking about how applications help us. So applications, first of all, there are applications or there are technological tools that help us first in creating the budgets. Now, for those who joined me on yesterday's session, what was the tool that I have used to create my budget?
Microsoft Excel.
Excel, right? Now, I told you my concept. Simplicity is the key. No need to complicate things. If you simplify it, it will be easier for decision making. No need to use sophisticated, complicated tools that require 5 to 10 minutes of analysis in order to generate a result. The Excel sheet that I have shared with you yesterday, was it easy or difficult to use?
Easy.
Very easy.
It was easy, right? Can we customize it depending on our needs?
Yes.
Yes. Can we add the sources of income? Yes, just add a row. Can we change the mandatory expenses? Yes, we can do that. Can we change the target mandatory saving? Yes. So tools such as Excel sheets help you in creating budgets. Also, there are some mobile applications that I have seen where you provide information about what are the sources of income that you have, what is your target saving, what is your target expense, right? Now, what would happen with this tool is that every time you spend, you input the data into the application. That today, for example, I have spent 200 dinars on grocery and household requirements. So it gives you an alert. It gives you an alert that, by the way, you are spending more than the target. This will have an impact on your saving. Or let's say I got a contract to provide a training session from the IBF. That is an additional source of income. I would input this data into the application so that, again, it is not there, such tools are not there to tell me that you should or you shouldn't. It's a tool that is alerting me that, by the way, if you spend more, we will not reach our target expense given the information about the income that you have inputted. So some tools are available in creating budgets. Number two, setting reminders. Now, I'll be honest with you, some of my mandatory expenses personally include the telephone bills. I have 2 mobile numbers. I have the home bill. I have the electricity bill. I have subscription and some of the, let's say, streaming channels such as Netflix and other items. Now, do you think I would remember when I should pay these bills exactly? From the top of your mind, do you know when you have to pay your telephone bill, electricity bill, children's tuition fees? We have a lot of deadlines. There are some applications that act as your calendar, that you receive 1 day notice or 2 day notice that, by the way, your electricity bill is due in 2 days. Your tuition fee is due in 1 week. Your loan installment is overdue. So it's just setting reminders. So one of the tools that I usually use, that again, for me, it is simple. In your mobiles, you have your calendars, right? In your calendar, mark the deadlines. For example, if I want to renew my driving license, I can check in my calendar, when is it due? Again, this is part of your financial requirements. If you want to renew your driving license, you have to pay fees. So that is part of an expense. So use your calendar to set reminders that on this day, I have to pay this amount. On this day, I should expect, for example, 300 dinars from providing service to a certain entity. So there are some tools that help you in setting reminders so that from the top of our mind, given our busy schedules, we are busy in our day-to-day activities, we tend to sometimes miss some deadlines. So set reminders. You can use a simple application such as the calendar on your phone, because at the end of the day, we might forget our car key, but we don't forget our phones. We don't forget our mobiles, right? That has often happened to me when I left home without my wallet, but I could not leave home without my mobiles. So accordingly, you have a tool, your mobile, and within your mobile, there is a calendar. Mark those deadlines. When are those expenses due? When are those income expected to be received, right? The third type of tool, as I highlighted, that banks have taken milestones and steps into digitalizing their services, right? It's not only the banks who have offered online solutions, mobile solutions. There are a lot of companies that as soon as the pandemic started, immediately they have moved to online channels, right? I will give you a simple example. Zara, a retail company, a retail shop, has offered their products to be bought through their application. Is this something positive or negative? a retail shop opens an online platform. Is that something good for you? Yes?
For us or for the shop?
For both.
Yeah, of course, it is good.
It's good for both parties, right?
Mhm.
Zara increases their sales. You are at home shopping. That means that you are taking precautionary measures, and at the same time, you're still shopping. Another example: can we buy our groceries? Can we buy our groceries while we're sitting at home?
Yes, through applications.
Through the hypermarkets applications, and at the same time, you have Talabat. Talabat also offers some shops or hypermarkets that deliver their groceries, right? Let's talk a more sophisticated perspective. Of course, you've heard about benefit application, right? Can you tell me some of the transactions you can execute through benefits? What can we do through benefit? So I don't know anything about this application. I need someone from the audience to tell me what can we do with benefit.
We can send money to other people. يعني مثلا I have an account in KFH, and let's say my friend has an account in BBK.
Yeah.
So I can transfer her money just by a few clicks. Also, now I think there is a feature to donate to charities, and also just by scanning the QR code we can pay to shops يعني and also شو اسمه we can هاي مال البترول نسيت شو اسمه سليم.
Yes. What about paying your bills?
Yeah, that also.
You can do that, right? So we have these applications that help you or that offer you digitalized services. Not only that, yesterday I've given you an example where I have opened 2 bank accounts with 2 different banks through their mobile application. And that was, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years back. So since I opened the account, I have never set foot in their branch. Everything I require as services from those banks, I can do it through the mobile app, through their online banking platforms, right? As I told you, some of the banks have digitalized or fully dedicated digitalized branches, where if you want to deposit, if you want to withdraw, if you want bank statements, if you have lost your ATM debit card, it can be provided to you in a matter of seconds. Right? So accordingly, these are digitalized services. These digitalized services could not have been done without having the sufficient tools or technological solutions. How does this help us in our topic? How is this relevant to us in finance and managing our finance? If you want to reconcile the amount that you have in your account, you need a bank statement. Do we need to go to the branches to get the bank statement? No, you have online banking. Imagine a scenario where banks don't have online banking, they don't have mobile application. That means that I have to physically go to the branch, wait in the queue, wait for my time to go to the customer service and tell them I need a bank statement. So there are digitalized services that help you in making decisions regarding the investments, and they help you manage your finances. So these are some of the functions that some tools offer. Automation. What do I mean by automation? As I told you, I have a lot of bills to pay, and honestly, I would prefer to automate all this process. One example of automation is giving standing orders. Standing orders means that banks will automatically execute a transaction upon your authority. So you give your approval once to the bank, and it will continue executing the transaction. So by automation, what I have done is I have opened or I obtained a prepaid credit card. By a prepaid credit card, that means that the card has no balance. I have to first put some funds in the prepaid credit card, and then I can use the prepaid credit card. So what I do is that I have given my bank a standing order that on the 25th of each month, I want the bank to transfer 300 dinars to the prepaid credit card, and all my bills are linked to the prepaid credit card. So nowadays, what I have done with these tools or technological solutions is I don't bother on whether I have paid my bills or not, because the entire process I have automated it. First of all, I don't need to go to every single bill provider and pay them individually. What I do is that all the fund is credited in the prepaid credit card. That's step one. If my telephone bill is due on the 29th, it will automatically deduct from the prepaid credit card. If, let's say, a subscription to the, let's say, streaming channels are due in the first week of each month, it will automatically be deducted. My idea is that by the time I reach the 24th of the following month, the balance in my prepaid credit card would be zero. If it is more than zero, I get to know that there is an issue with some of the bills. So I make sure that the funds are automatically credited in the prepaid credit card, and I make sure that the prepaid card is or has a zero balance before the next time the funds are credited. Right? So you have such services where you can automate your payments. Right? Another example is, as I told you, that I have created two bank accounts for my daughters, and again I have given a standing order. To the bank that on monthly basis deduct certain amount from my account and transfer it to my daughter's account. So I don't need to manually make these transfers. If you know that you have recurring expenses, try to use some tools that allow you to automate such payments or such deposits. Right? That is an example on how tools can help you automate your financing. Of course, we've already highlighted on taking advantage of online tools such as online banking, online shopping solutions. One of the features of some of the banks that they offer is that if I want personal loan, before applying for the personal loan, I want to know what are the calculation, how much is my monthly installment. So do you think I need to go to the bank to know how much my monthly installments would be? Yes? No? The answer is no. You can go to the website of those banks, input how much is the loan that you require, what is the period of the loan that you desire. So if I want 100,000 dinars as an example, over 7 years, there will be an automated or a calculated monthly installments that I need to consider when I want to make decisions. So take advantage of the online tools. Today, business is conducted in a different way. It's not like the old traditional way where there has to be a face-to-face interaction. Which is faster, going through automated channels or face-to-face interaction, based on your experience? Which one would you prefer? Executing transactions using technological solutions or having face-to-face interaction?
Using technological solutions allow us to save time and energy.
Time and energy, right? Perfect. That's very good. It helps you if you have a business. Without online solutions, it will be difficult to execute transactions today. If you are still relying on the traditional way of papers going back and forth, sending, for example, a messenger to the bank, sending a messenger to your counterparty, such as your suppliers or your customers, it will be very difficult to run the business. It could have been managed better if we look at those technological solutions. These technological solutions that I'm talking about are not only applicable to our personal requirements. Think of it tomorrow if you open a business. You might want to have some online channels that offer the different products that you have. You might have, let's say, payment portals that allow your customers to make payments through your website. So these technological solutions are there to make our lives easier, right? And of course, there are some applications that help you make your financial decision, such as one of the applications I have an application that allows me track the different source of income that I receive. Every time I receive an income, whether it's my salary or my rent or my other income, I immediately input the data into the application, so that today, if you ask me how much did I generate in March last year, I refer to the application and I see how much is the amount and what are the sources of the income that I have, right? So you need to consider those financial applications as tools to help you make financial decisions. These are all one of the tools that I need to talk about as well, are investment tools. If you want to invest, let's say, for example, in the stocks and Bahrain Bourse, do you think you will need to physically be there in the exchange to make such investments? So do we need to physically be at Bahrain Bourse to buy the stocks, for example, let's say of Alba, Betelco, BBK, Ahli United Bank, whatever the company that is listed in Bahrain? The answer is no. I've been investing for some time and I have never set foot in the exchange of Bahrain Bourse. I'm executing my transactions while I'm at home. Today also we live in a global world. You can think of the entire world as one single market, because while we are in Bahrain, we can go shopping using online platforms to buy items that are in Europe, that are in US, that are in Japan. So accordingly, this would not have happened if we don't have the internet, the sufficient tools, or the technological solutions. So we're talking about the upsides of technology. Now, as you might have known from yesterday's session, I don't like reading through the slides. So let's have some discussions. What could be some of the downside of technology? I wanted to share your experiences and your thoughts. What could be the challenges if we use such tools?
I feel like the more we share, the more we put our information online, the more we are compromising our information.
That's good. So basically, one of the main issues that you are referring to could be the security of your data, right? It's the security of your data. What else? If you use those...
Marhaba, hello, yes. I would say sometimes could be technical issues.
Technical issues, good. Can you please elaborate on that?
Let's say the net, maybe sometimes there is no connection or a proper connection sometimes.
That's very good. Imagine a scenario where you are relying on these tools heavily. You cannot make a decision unless you access a certain application. And all of a sudden, your mobile data is interrupted. You don't have access to the internet. So if you don't have access to the internet, can you access those applications? No, you cannot access those applications. So accordingly, technical issues is another challenge if we rely heavily on such tools or technological devices. Have you ever accessed the website, let's say, of one of your favorite retail shops, and they are telling you that the website is down for the time being? Did you face that? Or
Yes.
you wanted to access, let's say, your bank account. You need the bank account urgently today, right now, and the website is down. There are technical issues, right? Can those websites be hacked? Yes, cyber hacking is a major component of risk that we need to consider. So we have technical issues, we have security issues. What else? What else? What can you think of?
Maybe they're not accessible to older people.
Definitely not accessible to older people. That is one of the challenges because, again, for the older people, it might be a bit challenging for them to use the applications and tools. We still see some of the elderly who prefer coming to the branches, who prefer shopping physically rather than relying on these online platforms, right? What about the efficiency of those applications? What about the efficiency of your application? So let me ask you a question, especially for those who use Android. An Android, whoever develops an application can upload it into the Google Play. So it has not been, let's say, filtered by a specific party. And my question to you is, even if the marketing or the review that you have on this application is very good, it's excellent, right? Does that mean that we should give 100% confidence to these applications? No. We don't know who developed these applications. We don't know their intention. We don't know whether those applications, or let's say the formulas or the equations within those applications, are correct or not. So you need to verify whether the information provided by these tools are accurate or not, at least once or twice when you start using them, right? I will share with you one example on online shopping. That is a personal experience that I have unfortunately faced. Instagram is one of the sources of online shopping, right? As you scroll down on your Instagram, you might see some advertisements. So one of the advertisements that I've seen is, if you know the side tables, the bedside tables, those are small tables that you keep on the side of the bed. And this table was amazing. You know, now, if I go back, I would come and say it could be too good to be true. It's a smart table. That means that the table has to be plugged to an electrical socket. It allows you to put any device on the surface, whether it's an iPad, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's Android or Galaxy phones, and it allows you to, let's say, charge your devices in a wireless form. In addition to that, it had a small fridge, and it had sensor lights. That means that, as per the description of the product, as soon as you walk by the table, you would see some spotlights below the table. So it was very amazing. And personally, I really love technological items. So I checked the name of the seller, and I Googled them. It turned out to be one of the, let's say, big retail shops in the UK. So I checked the seller's profile. It's very good. I'm confident. So I placed an order. By placing an order, that means that I have provided my credit card details, and the amount has been deducted. Now, when the amount has been deducted, I expect some sort of confirmation that I have placed an order. I expect receiving an email or some sort of, let's say, confirmation that the transaction has been executed. Unfortunately, I haven't received anything for 2 days. So I started suspecting the transaction. When I went back to Google, I could not find that advertisement. So what I've done is that I have printed my credit card details, and that transaction had description, and it had the name of the seller. Now, when I Googled it once again, imagine what I missed. The well-known UK retail shop was almost similar to the name that I have seen in my credit card. The difference was one letter. An A was replaced with an E. So imagine this. I did not buy, that means I did not buy the product from the UK retail shop. I don't know whom I've given my money to. So immediately what I have done, I have notified my credit card provider, please block my credit card because I have compromised the data within it. That's number one. Number two, I have given them details of the transaction, and they said that they are going to investigate the matter. When I typed the name in the name that was provided in my bank statement on Google, it turned out that I have received a minimum of 40 to 50 complaints that this account or this name is a scam. This name is a scam. So that is one of the disadvantages that I have seen in online shopping. You need to be very careful when you want to provide the details of your credit card. Make sure that the website is secured. You get to know whether a website is secured if you go to any website, you can see the start of a website being HTTP, or if it has a payment portal, it will be HTTPS. When you see HTTPS, that means that the information or the website is secure for you to provide your credit card details. And if your details have been compromised, there will be consequences on the let's say, the company that has uploaded or published the website. All right. So to conclude the session today, as I told you that you have a variety of tools and technological solutions that help you make a decision. However, I would highly advise that first prepare a plan, prepare a budget. You cannot prepare a plan or a budget unless you have analyzed some personal information. What are the sources of income? What are the expenses? What is the target mandatory or the mandatory saving that I need to have on a monthly basis? Because as I told you, the tools will not make decisions on your behalf. The tools will provide you analytical data and information that help you make a decision. Your decision should be the one that helps you meet your targets and objectives. So before going to the technological solutions and the tools and the mobile applications or the laptop applications, you need to first set up a plan. You cannot, it's like if you go into a car, right? You switch on the car, but before switching on the car, you need to identify where is the destination. Where do I want to go? Once you know where you want to go, you know which roads you want to take. Now, even in driving, you have Google Map. Google Map will not work unless you specify the destination, where you want to go. If you don't specify in Google Map where you want to go, it will not be helpful. It's the same with the other finance tools. If you don't have a direction, then these tools add little value, right? And we have just briefly discussed on how or what you should expect from some tools, where we highlighted that tools could be used in creating budgets. It could be used in setting reminders. You need to ensure that there are digital services that they offer. Automation, it will make your life very easy if you automate your deposits and your expenses. Utilize the online platforms when you want to make such financing decisions, and definitely consider financial applications. And we concluded the session by highlighting that as much as tools are beneficial, there are downsides to relying heavily on such technological solutions. That will be the end of the presentation. I leave the floor to you. If you have any inquiries or any questions, or if you would like to share your experience, please feel free to do so. I have a question. What is the best tool for budgeting? There are a variety of tools or mobile applications that I have seen. What I would advise is, again, it's not about a single tool being the best for all of us. It depends on why do you want to use the tool. For me, a very simple tool used for budgeting that I personally use is an Excel sheet. Again, I like to simplify things. I don't require sophisticated mobile applications where I have to subscribe and pay monthly fee if I can use an Excel sheet. If you are good in using Excel sheet, Hanan, if you are good in using Excel sheet, I would advise you use that for your budgeting. I hope that clarifies the question. Yeah. Any other questions? Any inquiries? In general, how much should I save monthly income percentage maybe? Ali, this question, we spent some time yesterday to come with a conclusion. So for those who joined me in the previous session, is there a specific percentage that we agreed that we need to save?
No.
No. Why is that?
It depends on our goal, our end goal, or our income, or plus the period that we want to spend on saving.
Exactly. Ali, to elaborate on your question, there isn't a rule of thumb. If you hear someone telling you that 10%, you should save 10% of your salary or your monthly income, 15%, 20%, we cannot have a specific percentage on how much we need to save. Because Ali, what you need to do is answer the following questions. Ali, why do you want to save? Why do you want to save, Ali? Do you have a specific target? So, for example, for me on personal basis, as I want to save because I want to ensure that once my daughters graduate, they have I have arranged for their tuition fees, university tuition fees. Saving targets could be, you might want to consider buying a car, you might want to consider, let's say, constructing or renovating your house, buying a villa, traveling. So we all have different saving targets. We all have different sources of income. If you want, if someone's income is high, in order for them to achieve the target, they might as well save 5%. If someone's income is on the medium level, then the percentage will increase. So Ali, the question is not what is the percentage that I need to save on a monthly basis. The question is, how much do you need to save? And you need to identify your saving horizon. Do you want to save in a period of 6 months? Do you want to save in a period of 1 year, 5 years, 15 years? Once you specify how much you must have in your savings, it is then that you need to determine how much you need to save. Once you know how much you need to save on a monthly basis, then you can calculate that as a percentage. Is that clear, Ali? Yeah, perfect, good. How can we invest? Now, Dalal, my question to you is, what is the security or what is the, let's say, investment tool that you want to invest in? Are we talking about stocks, bonds, real estate? What type of investment are you thinking about? Bitcoin. There are some investment applications or investment platforms. Some of those investment platforms allow you to invest directly through those applications. One of the examples that I personally use is Mubashir. Tadawul Mubashir basically for me allows me to invest in financial securities such as stocks, bonds, options, foreign exchange. I haven't seen them. It doesn't allow me to, it's not a platform to invest in cryptocurrencies. So what tools should you use to invest depends on what you want to invest in. If you want to invest in Bitcoin, there are a lot of platforms that allow you to invest in Bitcoin. If you want to invest in housing, I think by housing, Dalal, you refer to real estate, such as investing in buildings and apartments. You have brokers. You have brokers that allow you to do such investments. So whenever you want to invest, you need to understand what you want to invest in, and accordingly look for the tools that allow you to do those investments. Is there a minimum amount to open an account with Mubashir? How expensive is trading fees? A minimum amount to open with Mubashir, I haven't seen. There isn't any minimum balance. Sometimes I deposit 100 dinars. Sometimes I deposit more in order for me to execute the transaction. Recently, they have changed their fees policies. So, Ali, I would highly advise you refer to their website. The fees, the brokerage fees is provided on their website, or you can send them an email and they will provide you the revised fees that they have implemented recently. Okay, let me just share with you my contact details, and thank you very much. And with this, we have concluded the session. Again, if you feel that you need some guidance, you have some inquiries, some questions, some issues related to the topics that we have seen yesterday and today, please feel free to email me or contact me. I will try to respond to you as soon as possible. I hope the session was beneficial, and thank you very much.
Thank you. يعطيك العافية.
Thank you so much, Ustad. يعطيك العافية. It was an honor having you as a speaker.
It was my pleasure, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Manama Hub for such an initiative. I'm humbled and privileged to have been here to deliver such let's say, informative topics.
Thank you so much. We're honored to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mr. Ahmed.
Welcome. Thank you.